Hello, good people of the internet, and welcome back to another edition of Raiho Talks About Nothing. Today I wanted to talk about the Lost Sphere demo, which hit the Nintendo Switch the other day. And this is a game that I've been keeping my eye on a little bit. I don't think there's been a ton of news about it, but I've been trying to keep my eye on it because it's from the developers of I Am Setsuna, Tokyo RPG Factory. I have not played I Am Setsuna. My plan is to play it in the new year. I've just had too much on the go and been basically playing Breath of the Wild exclusively for the last 9 months. But it is a game I really, really want to play. The aesthetic, the music, everything about it. I listen to the music a lot. I just really, really am interested in playing that game, and I just haven't had a chance to get it myself. But anyway, because Tokyo RPG Factory was working on this game, I was keeping my eye on it, kind of a thing. I think Tokyo RPG Factory is somehow related to Square Enix, maybe they're a developer for them, or I don't know how that all works. But anyway, so anyway, when I heard that the Lost Sphere demo hit, I went and downloaded it. The other night. You'll have to bear with me too. I'm still kind of getting over a cold. But anyway, I couldn't sleep the other night, so I was up with a cup of tea, and I thought that I would try out the demo. So I kicked back and I started playing it, and within about a half hour or so, I decided to not play it. First of all, again, I have not played I Am Setsuna. I don't know how that game plays. Cole, who I talk about all the time, one of my best friends, he, I believe, ordered it through PlayAsia, so he got a copy of it, but I haven't talked to him about if it's any good or anything like that, but it's just a game that looks like something I would definitely want to play. Immediately, Lost Sphere, it looks good. The menus look great. There's little portraits of the characters within the menus and stuff like that look really good. And the music is, of course, on point. I've been listening to the music, the main theme for Lost Sphere. I've been listening to that for a little while now, actually, since I think one of the teaser trailers were announced for the game or something like that. I don't even remember what it was. It might have been E3 time period. That's what immediately grabbed me about the game, other than the fact that it was being made by Tokyo RPG Factory. And it has, of course, if you know anything about these two games, they're very nostalgic. They kind of have some Chrono Trigger-esque look and feel to them. Again, I think Tokyo RPG Factory has something to do with Square Enix, and of course the team that does the Bravely games is over there as well. So I feel like there's some, like, the in-game characters in this game look a lot like something that would be in Bravely Default. So if the teams aren't directly connected, there's some kind of lineage there. But anyway, so anyway, I played the demo, and they drop you in, I would say, maybe a quarter of the way through the game. You're at about level 18. You've got a team of 4 characters. The Octopath Traveler. I'm going to talk a little bit about Octopath Traveler. I wrote a blog post about Octopath Traveler. I'm not going to talk about it too much, but in that demo, which of course is the team from Bravely Default, also coming out from Square Enix sometime next year for the Nintendo Switch, that game drops you off at basically the beginning of one of 2 of the characters' stories in the game. You get to play basically like the opening moments of their story. I'm sure that's subject to change, and they might change a little bit before the actual game gets released, but that's how you get dropped into the game. So you're at the very beginning, at the very basics of a game. And if you know anything about RPGs, there can sometimes be a lot of heavy mechanics and things like that going on, and it seems like that's the case with Lost Sphere. Immediately, they're trying to hit you with like menu after menu explaining artifacts, whatever the heck that is, something to do with memories. So you're immediately getting kind of crammed with all this information. So you get over that and you decide you're going to lay an artifact, and then you get into the first area in the game, and you start getting into fighting. And the fighting is sort of Chrono Trigger-esque. Your characters all kind of scatter into the screen, but you can actually move a little bit, which plays into the game, which is kind of nice. The combat seemed kind of cool. But you're given, like, I don't know, you've got your main attack, and then you've got what I guess we'll call it magic. And you've got, like, each character has a bunch of different magic attacks they can do. I tried to go into the menu and look into this sort of stuff, and you're hit with, like, you have all these different abilities, and they're all, like, there's so much going on. One thing I will say is you basically, I did a bunch of fights. I died at what I would call the boss fight maybe, and I hadn't saved up to that point, so I didn't go back and play it again. But I played up to one of the what I would call maybe a boss fight, and the bad guys in it are like uninspired, and, like they're these tiny little like it did not grab me whatsoever in that department either. But the combat was okay, but it's just kind of confusing. I mean, it is and it isn't. I guess what I would say is that I was going through the menus, kind of looking into the abilities and how that all worked, and there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. You can change into these weird little suit things at some point, which interact with the environment, and also you can use them to fight, and that adds another layer to the combat because you're stronger with those suits, and you can do these like chained abilities, and there is just so much going on, and they're hitting you with menu after menu after menu trying to explain this stuff, and you're trying to pick it up as you're going, and I just turned it off. I lost that boss fight, and I turned it off, and I just didn't want this demo to color what could be a really great game for me, like, improperly. These games, I think the Octopath Traveler demo did it right. I think they put you in at the start of the game where you're just sort of picking up. Maybe you only learn a fraction of what you can actually do in the game, but you get a taste for it. This game tried to give you maybe too much at once. It gave you like a bite, like right in the middle. So you're trying to pick up all these different things that are going on, these different menus and attacks and suits, and they're trying to explain it to you, but you're just trying to play a little demo for like an hour while you're kicking back or something like that, trying to get an idea of how the game works. And I just found it was too much, and it made me think negatively of the game. Like, I was like, I don't like this right now. And then I kind of stepped back and I said, the game could still be good. That could be fine. But when you play the game from the beginning, I'm sure you're eased into all this, and you learn all this stuff as you go, and you're not left sitting there with your head spinning after 45 minutes of playing the game. I'm sure that's the case. So I'm still looking forward to checking out the game maybe. And for me, I mean, I haven't played I Am Setsuna yet, and I can't play this until I play I Am Setsuna. That's just, I'm crazy. And, I'll play I Am Setsuna sometime in the new year, but because of the music, because of the aesthetic, because of everything I've seen about the game, it speaks to me. It seems like a game that I want to play, but I definitely don't want to get into this demo. Everybody's different. You might play the demo and get right into it and enjoy it. You might like sitting there and trying to figure it out. Basically what I did was I eventually just stopped paying attention to the demos and to the menus, and just tried to play the game straight with just like attacks and magic, and just try to play it basic. But I feel like there's definitely some layers there that you have to pay attention to that I was not. So I think ultimately I just need to step back and wait till the game comes out, and maybe then I'll check it out. I'll check out some reviews around that time and see if it's for me and all that stuff. But for me, the demo was just too heavy. So as always, I'd love to hear your feedback. I'd love to hear what you thought about the demo. If you played it, are you looking forward to this game at all? Do you not care? It doesn't matter. Please leave me a comment and let me know. And you can hit me up as usual on Twitter. And if you want to let me know what you think there, that's fair game too. I'm going to let you guys go. I'm kind of babbling now. And I will talk to you soon. Peace. I didn't want to end it with a peace. Didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. Oh, why am I drinking that? Why did I do that to myself? This edition of Ryo Talks About Nothing has been brought to you by Coca-Cola Classic. With Santa on the can. Look, it's Santa.